I'm trying to put this article together. It's not really.
That's all right.
I hate when you ask people questions and they answer it and you don't really understand what their answer is. You have to ask it again.
Yeah. Well, welcome to the Midday Show. I'm Jeff Everett. He's Mark Messina. I want to tell you about my great neighbors. I want to tell you how Mark was right, because I think it's important to admit defeat sometimes when Mark was right. And I saw Avatar 2 last night. The movie was almost as good as the journey there. We're going to talk about that. Mark, how are you feeling today?
I am, I'm a little bit chasing my tail today after yesterday when, it's just kind of like, I don't know. I dealt with some technological issues yesterday and a lot of stuff, then you're out snow blowing and all this. And then like today, I'm just up and at 'em and, answering texts and making calls and all this stuff. So, the world is right back at it.
I have the best neighbors. I need to mute this real quick though, because we don't want to blast anybody. There we go. That should be better. I have the best neighbors. I woke up and my driveway was done. I'm not sure which neighbor has done it yet. I need to figure out who. But if my neighbors are listening, thank you very much. Is there a name a better neighborly deed than shoveling the driveway? Watching your dog, maybe? Is it like watching the dog?
And I don't know if there really is one. I will say this, and this is one thing that has baffled me, and since I don't know if my neighbors ever watch. When I fire up, we have a snowblower.
Okay.
And now I think they call them snow throwers. I don't know what the difference is. But when I fire it up, once you're bundled up and you're out there, and I just kind of walk up the whole sidewalk. And like I'll do the neighbors down to the corner. I'll go the other way. I'll go I've never ever understood why people with snowblowers go to the end of their property and stop. Like gas isn't that expensive.
So you're saying the opposite though. It's not that you're taking credit away from the people who do it, but you're basically saying like, how hard is it to keep going?
Yeah. Why wouldn't you do it? Because the whole effort of especially once you have a snowblower, the whole effort is getting bundled up, finding your boots, putting the hat, getting the gas can out, getting it started. Once you get it started, you're just walking.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you just keep walking? I've never understood that.
Well, some people have jobs and stuff like that, but if you have the time, I understand where you're going with it. You're may just keep doing the sidewalk, and if the sidewalk leads you to another driveway,
Yeah.
Isn't there a little lawn aspect to it too, though? Like where there's some people that you would be doing them a favor if you did their lawn. There's other people that you would they would come over and be like, please don't do my lawn.
I had a neighbor like that in Baltimore. We lived in a townhouse.
Yeah.
And we lived in a townhouse and we were the end unit. So, the yard line was halfway between. Mm-hmm. And when I would go out, I would just go all the way over to the other, and they told me to stop.
Yes.
I was like, So anyway, yeah, I guess. I don't know. I can't believe that snow blowing is one of those things, but whatever.
I wanted to admit defeat to you. My backyard, my front yard, it is beautiful. It is white. There's snow here on top of the hill. However, you called it yesterday. You said it was going to rain most of the night. The roads would be fine. The world would be back to normal. And I was kind of like, no, I think it's going to keep doing. And I will admit defeat. You were right. You nailed it. You had the right idea of what was going to happen. The world is back to normal today. I apologize. You got that one right.
I don't know what else you want me to say. I will say this, though. When you talk about neighbors and snow plowing, again, remember, beautiful girls, when you finally come around to watch this with your girlfriend, snow plowing is a big part of the movie. And I just lost you. And you froze. And you're done. And it's just me. And
now I'm back now. So the best part about that is I didn't have to hear you. Whatever you just said, I didn't hear. So I didn't have to hear your obnoxious, you are right, I was right, which was great. I made it to Avatar last night.
Did you walk?
So here was the situation. Because I'm a good boyfriend, I gave my car to my girlfriend so she could drive to work if need be. So I was kind of stuck without a good vehicle for the snow. My cousin has a car as well, not a great vehicle for the snow. We're kind of up on the top of Grimesville. You know, it was a little hairy last night. Let's put it that way if you wanted to be on the roads. We looked up, it was 4.8 miles to walk to the movie theater. And we were debating whether or not we were going to make the walk to see Avatar at the AMC theater. And we had it all mapped out. We were looking for shortcuts on the map. We could walk through this parking lot. We could go through this section. Like, we had it down to where we were going to try to do it. Thankfully, a friend stepped up to the plate. Truck came and picked us up. We made it to the 7:45 showing of Avatar. I have my cup right here. I rinsed it out and changed it, but I thought for the show today I would have the cup. Okay. Here's what you need to know about Avatar, and I want to read to you what I sent my friends. First of all, I very much enjoyed it, which is a good
Hold on. Before you even get to that, how many people were there?
10. There was not a lot of people.
Oh. Okay.
There was not a lot of people. Now, 7:45 showing, it was later. Snow was still going. You know, people were kind of tucked in for the day. Maybe there were 2 showings earlier. They might have been more full. There were 3 sets of people. In total, there was probably 10 people in the theater. Okay. This movie it's indescribable because it is so many things wrapped into one thing. So this was my immediate evaluation of the movie. Are you ready for this? I wrote, it is everything. It's everything that's wrong and it's everything that's right, all at once in one 200-minute viewing. You'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll be bored, you'll be overwhelmed. You'll know the meaning of life and nothing at all at once. That is my Avatar 2 review.
I get the concept. You know what sticks out to me?
Go ahead.
200 minutes?
It's 3 hours and 10 something. So when you throw in the credits and kind of the you're there for 200 minutes.
Oh dear God.
Titanic was 3 hours. Was Titanic not 3 hours? I think Titanic.
Yeah, but Titanic was, edge of your seat for 3 hours.
Titanic?
Don't you think?
The boat's upright for the first hour and a half.
I know. And that's what I don't know.
I'm just saying.
I think Titanic is the quickest 3-hour movie ever.
The quickest 3 hour. I would have to watch it again. This movie, first of all, I'm going to force you to see this movie. You need to see this movie because
so I can learn the meaning of life.
There are parts of this movie that I don't know how he did it. When I watch other movies, it's like a special effects or this or that. There are things in this movie that look so real and the action is so massive. Like, it's on a scale that's like, do you know how they did the Titanic? They had the miniature Titanic and they kind of...
Yes.
The scale of this story and the scale of some of the scenes is like 10 times the Titanic. So you can't make like just a model and just like break it in half. These are massive set pieces, and the detail and how they do it and how they pull it off, it is unbelievable to see. I truly believe it's one of a kind, not because it's amazingly good, but because I don't know how anybody else could pull off what James Cameron pulls off. It's absurdly unreal.
It sounds like something I need to wait until I can watch it in my house and watch it in I'll turn it into a mini series.
I was going to say, it sounds like something you need to watch on a plane on a 10-inch screen so you can get the full...
Well, on a plane, I have nowhere else to go, so I might, you're kind of stuck there, but...
What do you have against it? Just the 3 hours?
It's a long time, man. It's a long time. At least football games have commercials. They have time. They have halftime. They have,
how long is It's a Wonderful Life?
2 hours and 12 minutes.
It's a long movie for not an action movie.
It's a quick 2:18 though, buddy. It's quick.
Is it? Is
it
a quick 2:18? I like I said before, there are moments in this movie where you will be bored. There is James Cameron. I don't know if you know this. He basically helped make the machine that went down to the Titanic. That was how this whole thing kind of
I
started.
thought his brother made it.
Well, yes, but he was a part of the team that went down. And
Okay.
yeah, you're right. Let's not give James Cameron too much credit, but he was a part of the group that did it. There are parts of this movie where you can tell he was just having fun. Like he was making underwater scenes that looked incredibly realistic. And so there's a huge chunk of this movie where you're just kind of looking around underwater and you're doing all these things. And it's visually unbelievably impressive. But from a story standpoint, you are kind of like, we've been down here for a long time. Like we've been doing this for a while now. But the last hour of this movie is 6 different things at once, and it all works and it all fits together, and it is edge of your seat. Like I said, massive scene, massive set. The action is unbelievable. It's the last hour is almost like 6 movies in one, but it's all working in this timeline that kind of fits. It's very impressive.
Do I need to rewatch the first one first?
It helps. It was funny you said that because we sat down and the first thing my cousin leaned over and said to me, he goes, "We probably should have watched the first one this week." And I said, yeah, it would have helped. One of the things that he does very well, the first 10 minutes of the movie, it's kind of like bringing you up to speed, and then action, like 10 minutes in, something big happens and you are now into it, and it is like going. So need is not the word. Is it helpful? Sure. Of course it's helpful. But you don't need to watch it.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I think I still am going to. Because just like in my world right now, I cannot see like dedicating a whole day to going to watch Avatar. And that's what it seems like in my life. So I will probably see it at some point, not on the big screen that is a little screen in my basement.
Okay.
That's probably where it'll happen.
I'll warn you right now, it's not going to. It is. I'm trying to think. You and I have talked about it. Like movies you have to see in theater. Like this is like a Twister. It's like a Titanic. Like it is. You have to kind of see it in the theater, or else it kind of loses its gravitas. Like it's not going to be as big as it was. But it is. I don't want to sit here and say like he did it, like he pulled it off, because again, this is a flawed, like there are flaws in this movie. It is everything. It's great, it's bad, it's literally everything that's right and wrong with movies. But it is, the highs are so high and the spectacle is so unbelievable. I would argue he pulled it off. I would argue that whatever the last 13 years were spent on, I'm not saying that I understand it, but I'm saying at least there is a result that in a way justifies the 13 years.
Okay. I will take your word for it. Yeah, I'll take your word for it. Let's leave it at that.
All right, we'll leave it at that then. Have you seen any of the headlines from today?
Which ones?
Just in general, have you picked up a newspaper? Have you looked at your phone? Have you clicked on?
I have looked at my phone. Actually, I've been texting and busy, and I'm working on a story, and I talked to 2 people last night, or yesterday, throughout the day, one in the day, one last night, and I had 2 more people I wanted to talk to today, and I texted them both, and I kind of, asked, when can I call you because I want to do this, blah blah blah. And I set my phone down and I got ready to do something else while I was waiting to get, and they both texted right back and said, yeah, I can talk now. So I spent a lot of time on the phone taking notes and writing a story. So no, I don't know anything that is happening in the world. I don't think so, unless you mentioned something.
No, you're not missing a ton. There was an aquarium in Berlin that burst, that held 1,500 tropical fish. So right now there's pictures going around of like obviously fish on the floor. There's coral on the floor. But if you can imagine a massive tank holding 1,500 tropical fish, bursted open, water's everywhere. So right now they're trying to get details, how many fish survived, how many lost. But like I've never walked into an aquarium and thought, what if this cracked? Like, what if something happened? And in Berlin, that's what happened. A full-fledged aquarium fell apart.
That would be brutal.
It would be absolutely brutal to have been there. Brittany Griner spoke out for the first time since being released from a Russian prison. We also have Stephen Curry's out. He hurt his labrum. I didn't know if you saw that or not.
I did not see that. I saw that Brittany Griner spoke, but I didn't hear anything of what she said.
I'm trying to see what else is here. There's actually a lot going on. Japan is doubling their military spending, which is kind of a big deal. That's basically China influenced. Japan at their last meeting believes China is an actual threat to them. So they're going to act for the first time. I believe it's the highest military spending raise in Japan's history, according to the BBC. So that's interesting. Goldman Sachs is planning to cut 8% of its employees in January. It says here on CNBC they've already begun sending out notices.
So I'm back to the Japan thing. So your mindset strategy, in not just doubling your military budget, but announcing it. Are you announcing it to try to deter China from becoming a threat, or to try to like rally support of, hey, we're doing this because we're worried about these guys? Or do you think that there's a fear of like that China's like, oh, challenge accepted? You can double whatever you want. It won't influence our decisions.
I think you're right on the first two. I think it's kind of whatever you're planning, you're going to need a different plan, I think, is what is on Japan's mind. And I'm not saying they're not real. I'm without a doubt, I bet you they're going to double up on everything. But I'm just saying they're probably sitting here thinking like whatever China has in the background, whatever they've got drawn out, let's notify them that they're going to need a different plan, that they're going to need to take the time to reconsider or remap out what they would have done had they considered it. That's what I agree with you.
Okay.
Is that what you would have leaned?
Yeah, I think probably. It's just I'm always curious whenever anything like this happens, when an announcement is made, because there are lots of things in life that an announcement kind of needs to be made because it's public knowledge anyway, and there's no reason not to. But in this, I'm not sure an announcement needs to be made. And so those things, it always questions me when they make a voluntary announcement, what's their game plan? Because there obviously is one.
Yeah. The other interesting, I agree with the support part too. I think it puts the rest of the world on notice if you're Japan, kind of like, hey, we think these guys are up to something. So yeah. I agree with that. The other one that was interesting, I don't know if you saw this, Twitter has done some interesting things. I know we've talked a lot about this, but they suspended accounts that follow celebrity or private planes. So remember where they had the tracker, and you and I talked about all the gas and all the pollution that essentially celebrities were spending on these private jets. Do you remember that conversation? So Musk has decided that it's a security issue to allow accounts to show these flight paths, because it allows terrorists, it allows hijackers, it allows anybody who would want to know how to commandeer a plane, how to hit a plane, where that plane is flying for like high profile individuals. So there's a debate going on right now about like public versus private, because those flight trackers are public knowledge, but Musk is saying it's a security issue. Does Musk have the power to decide that's a security issue? Who decides that stuff? So a really interesting conversation there around public versus private, security versus whether or not who gets to decide if it's a security issue or not. The Twitter stuff is, for me, it's not even about Twitter anymore. It's just it's like everyone uses the town square. It's really, for me, I think there's going to be a lot of really fascinating conversations around right and wrong, public, private, like those types of things are going to get worked out because of Musk and Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, you say worked out. I think they're murky, though. There's this fine line as to what is freedom of speech, but where does it cause danger? And, there are times, as we always say, you can't yell fire in a crowded theater. There are times that we limit free speech. Yeah. So it's because I see Musk's point.
Yeah, I totally see Musk's point. It's like I said, I agree with you. Solving or figuring out was probably too strong, but I feel like the conversations are going to get brought up. Like the fact that this is the first time someone has really in a public forum brought up like, hey, these flight trackers, they kind of pose a security issue. I think those are the type of conversations that are going to get brought up more and more and more. He also, I don't know if you saw this or not, he suspended some journalists on Twitter. The remark was because of assassination danger. I don't know exactly what that means, but that's the claim that the company is making. The irony is everyone's losing their mind because Musk suspended these journalist accounts. However, we just found out 2 weeks ago that Dorsey and who is working for him basically blacklisted a lot of journalist accounts and different accounts during the elections. So that too is that other conversation of kind of like, if you weren't mad about the journalists 2 weeks ago and now you're mad about these journalists, you're kind of picking sides, you're being a little hypocritical. So I don't know. I feel like as much as people don't like what Musk is doing, I appreciate the conversations that are coming up around it a lot.
I just find it hard to believe people would ever be hypocritical.
Really? Ever?
Yeah. Never happens.
That's it. That's all I got for headlines. We have a meeting this afternoon, but do you have anything else? Anything else off the top of your head?
No, this is the last real, it's not even really the last real. It is the last weekend before Christmas. So Monday is going to be the busiest mail day of the year. Because all the people like me that have not addressed one Christmas card yet, but they're sitting in a box and they're on the dining room table. So that will get done this weekend. And on Monday, I will be dumping a bunch, just like everyone else will, hoping that they get there by Saturday. So they get the Christmas card on time. But yeah, if you're online shopping again, you might want to get at it. This is now the perfect time to support local and shop local and the little things that you're picking up, to support the local places because if you go get it, you'll have it.
Yeah, good call. Good call. I go to Willard's. Do you ever go to Willard's?
Willard's is a neat store. It's stupid. I like the smell.
No, that's not stupid at all. It's because it's one of the only places you get that smell when you walk into it. I don't think that's stupid at all.
If you've never been to Willard's, the leather goods, they have lots of other stuff too, but it has that leather smell that is neat. I think one of the things too, I think when we're talking about stupid gifts and you've I've always thought that movie gift cards, we do them for food all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I think to the movies is underrated.
Sure. Because
it is such a neat experience still to see the movie, unless it takes 5 hours to watch the whole thing. Whenever you go, unless the movie just sucks and you're disappointed, but to watch a movie that is a good movie on the big screen in the theater is still the best way to take it in. And and I know that people, stockings are stuffed with gift cards all the time for places to eat and places to give it. While you're doing that, I've always thought that the movie theater was one that gets overlooked sometimes, and it's always a good time.
No, I'm with you. I had a great time last night, so I can't wait for you to see it. Really,
I lost this in the story, and your girlfriend did not go.
She did not go. No, she was snowed in somewhere else. I went with a group of friends. There was 5 of us in total, my cousin and some friends. 2 out of the 5 cried at the end of the movie.
Because it was so long and they realized how much of their life had just passed them by?
No. 2 out of the 5.
Of the 5.
I would say to you, don't mock something that you won't participate in or that you won't yourself at least experience before you mock it.
Okay, first of all, in America, we mock lots of things that we don't participate in. That's part of what makes our country great.
Is it? That's what makes it great.
So of the 5 that saw it with you, they got 5 thumbs up.
Yeah, definitely 4. Definitely 4. The
Okay.
fifth, I think the fifth, it wasn't their cup of tea, and I think it was long. But even they in the car, they were kind of like, yeah, that's unlike anything I've ever seen. So it is an experience. Again, it is everything. It's the best and the worst of film. It's you think you know, and then you don't, and it is you're bored, and then you're overwhelmed, and then it is everything that's right and wrong with movies, and it's worth going to see.
And I know we talked about this before, but so if someone wants to see it tonight and they haven't seen the first one in years, you think
Yeah.
it's fine?
I think you'll be okay. The first 10 minutes sets you up on a path for success before it hits you with some action. But again, if you've had the time and you have, or like if you're gonna see it Sunday and you're not doing anything tonight, it wouldn't hurt to throw it on, without a doubt.
Okay. I am curious, and I know it is one. So what you're telling me, maybe Cameron did this because he is so smart. Maybe he made that underwater water scene long enough, so that's your bathroom break. Maybe he has a built-in intermission.
It's possible. I mean, I wouldn't put anything past him. That's like without a doubt. So we'll see.
Okay.
I hope you do see it. I honestly, I hope you do see it in theaters.
I am proud of you for going.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I am proud because you're not the toughest guy in the world, and I know you had to brave the elements.
We've done dumber things than go to the movies last night. Thank you guys for watching the Midday Show. Be sure to go to NorthcentralPa.com for all of your local news. And thank you to Weis Markets for being the title sponsor. Be sure to go there this weekend for your holiday needs. I'm Jeff Everett. He is Mark Messina, and we will see you guys next week.